So do you integrate like that kind of fine tuning? What would you ask a prospective customer to really bring to the table?
I published a blog post recently on LinkedIn called Generative Experience Management. And kind of the old world that we used to live in was the world of digital asset management, right? So it's a static brands, static assets, organizing the permissioning of the various assets. But we're going to live in a world in the future where all the assets are going to be generated on the fly in real time, right, based on personal data, based on what's trending in the news, based on all the new learnings that the brand is constantly getting from various consumer engagements. And so there's going to be a layer on top of the assets, the models that are generating all this content now. And so in that world, you need a tool for managing these brand models, these generative models that will power the brand assets, not just putting brand assets in various folders and changing the permissioning of those assets. And so what is required when it comes to training these models is understanding, in a very deep way, what is it about the brand that is sacrosanct. And to your point, today a brand is fairly static. It is usually like a couple pages of a brand guideline or a brand book, and it's not very flexible, and it's kind of a little bit stodgy, and it doesn't result in the most engaging consumer experiences. But an LM, right, brings can bring bring these characters to life, can bring a brand to life, can develop an intimate relationship with consumers in a way that's more vibrant than just a static rule book. And so for that, what we do is we fine tune the models on the brand book and all the brand assets. We have customers create rules, but also, potentially, what are the hard and fast rules, and then what are not. So, if it's a one-off instance, potentially when you can break those rules as well to develop potentially more intimate relationship with the consumer. Um, and so, yeah, and so that's really what we're focusing
Mhm.
on is these generative experience management platform, building that for brands. So it's less about managing the assets and managing the rules in the brand books, and more about managing the models that power uh, these generative experiences.
Give medical kind of beginning scenario. They're starting to work out. Do you give them like a series of like test ads, A/B testing, reaching enough scale to be able to validate this? I mean, I know one size doesn't fit all, but how would you recommend when people come in to be able to find those initial messages that really resonate, or do you focus on a few because you've got this intelligence?
Yeah, great question. So we have a creative brief tool that generates ideas for customers to test. So customers will input the objectives of their campaigns, the audiences that they're targeting, and then we will suggest the platforms to advertise. We will suggest the copy and the imagery. We'll even generate sample mood board imagery and sample product photographs and designs for them. And then you utilize that to then power their advertising campaigns. And that creative brief then becomes the pillar, kind of rag, if you will, that then when you generate additional copy or generate additional imagery, it kind of aligns with kind of the broad heuristics that are determined in this creative brief. And so that's the next step is, once the customer has uploaded the brand information and connected the digital assets, upload their assets to our platform, and our models have been fine-tuned on their product and their brand style and their brand voice. And then we then generate creative briefs with platforms, messaging, and imagery and audience targeting, uh, kind of a blueprint for their campaign that the customers can then edit or regenerate, and then use that then to power the generative experiences.